I
There's
see what
no
you're
help.
saying, Marcus. The only reason why I agree with Marcus because what I heard from men on the panel, every time they talk about a woman that's problematic, they always go back to she lacked a father. They always go back to that. You could tell she didn't have a daddy. You could tell she didn't have a male role model. You could tell she didn't have this. But back in the day, shoot,
Every
grandma
woman
gonna
on that
get you. The
every
whole
woman on that
community, it was
panel had
more
a
of a
father.
community type thing. But most of the time when they talk about problematic women, they saying it's because of the lack of a male leadership in her house. We can't go against these white men that's up here doing this against us. Women are not meant to fight and go against men. And the people that suppressing us are not white women, they're white men.
Die.
Yeah, but the
Every
problem with that young lady is you can't take his cookies and then expect him to have your best interest when he's trying to kill your man through you.
What if
Now,
our man was
oh,
handing out cookies?
okay, but listen what I'm finna say. You're right, but listen what I'm saying. For you men out there,
Lord have
if you
mercy.
turn your woman into a stripper, she gonna treat you like a stripper. Believe that. And if you don't know why stripper treat men, go in one club and you'll see. Now you out there got her on your shoulders and you saying to your friends, trying to brag to your friends how sexy she is. Well, that's the wrong thing to be saying about your woman to your friend in the first place. If your friend telling you that, that means that he has on his mind that when he sees your woman, he thinks about sex. So it's a lot of things we're gonna have to clean up in our community. But I do believe, Mr. White, as you said, it started with us as men because, believe it or not, every community is gauged by the strength of the man. Every community, every race, anywhere you go in the world, it's gauged how strong the male is in that race.
All right, so I could understand that to an extent, but the reason why I would say that it ended up being 70-30 for me is because I look at what has changed more, right, in society. And I feel like the roles of women and their behaviors have changed about, I would say, 70-30. I think that men typically have there are some things we know we need work, right? But I would say that women have changed much more than men have. I don't think anybody would really disagree with that, right? And, you know, by trade, I've done problem solving for the past 25 years. And in problem solving, the first thing that you do, if there's ever a variable, right? There's a variable, you remove that variable and you solve the problem, right? Once you put the variable on there, okay, you know, what changed here? Okay, this changes. All right, that's the quickest way to find a problem is to first find a variable. And if we see that the women have changed, then we know that that's what the problem is. That doesn't mean that's the solution, but that does mean that that's the problem, right?
Most certainly.
So if you if it takes male leadership to change it, that's awesome. But back to the beginning of what I was stating very early on is that there are some females who, and I'm not going to say it's the majority because there's a good amount of females, and most females that I encounter in my life and in my circles, they doing a thing. They are exactly what most men would desire out of a woman for a wife, right? But I think there are far too many degenerates out there who are going to make it so our lives are more difficult and we cannot excel or prosper as a society, right? There's too many of them, and whether it's the minority or not, it's a loud minority, and they represent us in a way that is detrimental to our image, period, right? And detrimental to our children and their futures. So there's absolutely some work that has to be done. I think we agree on what the problem is for sure. The solution is indeed the hard part. Now, I wouldn't say that it doesn't start with the men because you would expect men to lead. I enjoy leading. I lead others in any form that I can. If I feel like I can help a person out, male or female, I think, you know, it's your responsibility, and I take it on as my civic duty to lead anybody who I might have more information on a topic, whatever subject that is. If I can help you, I will always do that, and I will follow people who know more than me, right? And that's
Yes, sir.
what I think that wise people do, or at least should do. So,
Can I ask you a question though?
go ahead.
Before you finish, wrap it up.
Good.
And it goes back to the joke. And this lady right here, she was, well, you know, if you turned into it, you might think she might have been windmilling and doing all kinds of stuff. But where's she at? She's the only one on the panel. You know why she's the only one on the panel? I don't have to ask her. It's because she's willing to learn. She's willing to accept things may be different than what she think it might be. That's why she's here. That's why, you know, I rather, when I boot up my channel, I've been doing this shit for 15 years, and I might have 3 people over there. But I know the 3 people over there is willing to listen to whatever I got to say, versus having a whole crowd of people, and they just there for the bullshit. She stayed regardless if y'all were giving her a rough time or she was giving herself a rough time. She's willing to take the information and say, you know what? I may be wrong. I might be putting this influence too much in front. There might be some other things that is a mercy in our community that I need to learn about. And then I can balance my conversation out so I won't go into this blame game or victim game or whatever. I might be able to put it all together, compartment together, so I can deliver my message a lot better.
OG, she gonna make you think she listening to you.
He's trying. OG, just let me ask you a question.
When I tell you I listen to you, I just want to say I listen to you, Jay. I do believe that. This is what I stress to my friends. When I realize that it's being one-sided, that's when I come in and talk and try to advocate for why women do the things they do. I'm not making excuses, but if somebody say they want an understanding, like you said, they have to do the same thing. They have to understand that maybe this is just the way women operate. But at the same time, I believe we as women, if you're a true woman of God, you're going to maintain your character. You're not going to let the world influence you. And only then can you be the helpmate that you can to your man. I do believe that I said this. I said, if women start going this route and trying to be tit for tat for men, our community fucked. For real. Because like you said, the devil knew he couldn't influence Adam. Like when you said that, so much things clicked for me up here. You know, he knew he couldn't influence Adam, so he went to the woman so she could do it for him. And it's too many women out here doing the devil's work. I can agree with that. But when you have men on here not holding men accountable for their part, that's when it looks like I'm being one-sided, because we had a woman on the panel who was downplaying the domestic violence on men just because men weren't the majority of the ones going through it, not understanding she could be hurting a man that actually been through it. She could be hurting a man who friend probably died from that. And I was on, even after the panel ended, I'm still going to tell her, you're wrong. This is wrong. So when they say, oh, she just this or that, it's like they discrediting all the other things. If I'm being combative, it's because I truly don't understand. But like you said, I'm going to stay and try to gain an understanding. But when my opinions are overlooked, like how the entertainment comment was just completely overlooked and not taken accounted for, that's when I got on the defense.